In this video, I'll be showing how to place a serpentine belt tensioner on a Nissan Sentra. It is located in the engine bay. Let's get started. You're going to want to safely raise and support the front of the vehicle. To remove the wheel, we have 5 21mm lug nuts. I'll be using a 21mm socket to remove those. Let's remove our wheel. Now that our wheel is out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and locate these push pin clips. I'm going to remove this so I can get the fender liner out of the way and gain access to the serpentine belt tensioner. I'm going to move to this top one. And then now this one. Now for this last clip on top. Set these aside. I'm going to move along under the fender line and locate these 3 last push pin clips. Now for my 3 bolts, I have 2 8mm and 1 10mm. Now we can set these aside. Now I could go ahead and pull my fender liner out. Just gonna pull on the back. Remove the clips from the bumper. I'm gonna squeeze this inside part. And set it back here. So you can see our knot for the tensioner is right here. It is a 14mm. I'll be using a box end wrench and pushing to the left. So undo the pressure. Now while we're holding that, we can slide the belt off. Now we can set the tensioner back, remove our wrench, and remove our belt. Now you can set it aside. Now moving back under the vehicle, I'm going to use a floor jack and a piece of wood to support my engine. Just raise it until it's supporting the engine. And I'm going to pull up on one side of the engine cover. We can set this aside. Quick note for this generation of Nissan Sentra, there are 2 types of motor mounts. I was using the one that goes from the lower body up to the top of the engine. There is another style that goes from the top to the top. Now we're going to move along to my ground strap. It's held in by 1 10mm bolt. I'm going to move this out of the way and set the bolts aside. Now I'm going to remove my 5 engine side motor mounts. They are a 16mm. So the 4th one down will be a longer bolt. Keep that in mind when you reinstall. As you can see. Now the engine may move a bit, that's normal. Now we can set these aside. Now for the 3 bolts on the body side of the motor mount, they're also 16 millimeters. Quick inspection and set them aside. Now we can pull the mount out. Pull the refrigerant line back a bit. Just maneuver it out of the way. Now we go ahead and locate the T50 insert here. I'm going to use a pry bar here and here. I'm going to pry the engine back so I have enough access to get it in. Put it on this ear right here and push. I'm going to take my serpentine belt tool with the T50 on and break it loose. Now that that's broken free, I'm going to take my ratchet and finish removing it. Remember, I do still have that pry bar pushing. Now I'm going to remove the T50 bit from my ratchet and finish removing it by hand. Now I can remove my pry bar. Using my bolt, set it aside. And I can remove my tensioner. There it is. I'm going to take my new tensioner, slide it in. Quick note, there is an alignment tab on the tensioner and on the block. Make sure that's fully inserted. So you're just going to put the alignment tab in and make sure the tensioner is flush. Now we can hand thread in our bolt. Could use my pry bar to pry the engine backwards. Now that that's bottomed out, we're going to torque this to 30 foot-pounds. Now that my bolt is bottomed out, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this. The torque spec for this is 30 foot-pounds. Just going to pry on the engine again, push it forward. Now I can set my engine back. Now to reinstall my motor mount. Simply drop it in. While I'm holding the mount, I'm going to lower the motor a bit with the jack. Take your time with it. You do not want to lower your engine too much. I can stop the jack and line up my mounting points. As you can see, I do need to go a little bit lower. You could also pull and push your engine to properly align it. And now you can see it's all aligned. I'm going to hand thread in all my bolts first. Remember, the first 3 are the short ones and the 4th one is the long one. Here's the long one. And for my last short one. Now for my 3 body side bolts. So again, just thread them in by hand. You may need to move the motor mount around to get some of the bolts threaded in. Once they're all threaded in, we can go ahead and tighten these down. Now I'm just going to snug these down. So the torque spec for these upper bolts are 33 foot-pounds. And for the body side bolts, the torque specification is 48 foot-pounds. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall my ground strap and just snug it down. Thread it in by hand first. And ensure it's secure. And now for our engine cover. There's some plastic tabs here that will have to align with these rubber grommets. Just push down and ensure it's secure. Now I'm going to go under the vehicle and slowly lower the floor jack. Now we can go ahead and pull it out. Now to install our belt. I'm going to go ahead and feed it up in the engine bay. Put it around the crank pulley. Around our AC condenser and water pump. Using my serpentine belt tool to get more leverage, I'm going to slide the belt over the pulleys and make sure they're all aligned. Now my belt's on, make sure the alignment on the pulleys is in the center, right here and right here. And make sure you have proper tension. Now we can move on to our fender liner. I'm going to push both sides in. And feed the inside of the bumper. Now we're going to go ahead and reinstall my push pin clips. Now for our last 3 push pin clips. Now for my 110mm and 2 8mm bolts, I'm just going to snug these down. Now we're going to reinstall the front wheel. Now we're going to reinstall our lug nuts. We're going to snug them down in a crisscross pattern. Now that my wheel is on the ground, I'm going to torque the fasteners to 83 foot-pounds in a crisscross pattern. Now that our vehicle is back on the ground, go ahead and take a look at your belt and make sure it's aligned on the top alternator pulley. Now after that, go ahead and start your engine, take it for a road test, make sure you don't hear any abnormal noises or squeaks, and thank you for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.